What is up YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D or Techno Dad here, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the Parasound Halo Integrated Amplifier, and we're going to get into it right after the jump. And I'm back. Now, if this is your first time to the channel and you need help with 4K home theater and audio products, or just trying to figure out how to set it up properly, you should consider subscribing because I'm here to help. Now that housekeeping's out of the way, let's get into it. So first things first, why did I buy this 2.1 channel integrated amplifier? Basically, I have these speaker companies that want to send speakers in for speaker reviews, and I've always felt like my Denon AVR X6300H is not pushing out the advertised 140 watts per channel. And that is a 2-channel rating that Denon gives out. So I wanted to pick up something that had a lot of power, or at least a good amount of power, and the Halo Integrated does put out 160 watts per channel into 8 ohms and 240 watts into 4 ohms. Now, when I was looking around, there are plenty of brands of power amplifiers. I went with Parasound because I did buy a 2-channel Parasound back in the day, and it's still at my mom's house and it's still rocking. So with that history with the Parasound brand and all the new John Curl designed amplifiers and THX Ultra 2 certification that they've got going on, I thought it would be a no-brainer to go with Parasound. The Halo Integrated does retail for $24.99. So it's not on the cheap side. However, that being said, this thing is built with tons of quality. Like, you can just tell it is a quality product. I am lucky that my Klipsch dealer also happens to be a Parasound dealer. His name is Corey, and I'll put his link down in the description for his website and maybe flash it up on the screen here. And if you guys are interested, definitely give him a call and check him out. Now, I do like the Halo Integrated because it is a preamp and an amplifier all rolled into one. So first things first, getting it out of the box was pretty easy, except for the fact that this thing is heavy. It's about 33 pounds, and even though there was a huge hole and dent in the box due to shipping, thanks UPS, there was like styrofoam coming off the corners, and it was actually in a smaller box, so there was no damage on the smaller internal box. I was happy about that. So good job, Parasound. So as you can expect, this comes with all your standard items in the box. We've got IEC power cable, 3-prong. We've got a remote. We've got batteries, USB cable. There's 12-volt triggers and an aux cord. And of course, the manual. I really wanted to open this up to show you guys exactly what's in there, as far as how large like the transformer is and that kind of thing. So I called Parasound a few days ago and got the okay to open it without voiding warranty. On the left hand side here, you can see huge heat sinks. And this big thing on the right is the custom made toroidal transformer. And do you see the size of this? Look at my hand. Look at my hand. This thing is like 5 inches in diameter and about 4 inches tall. This thing is huge. There's no doubt in my mind that this thing is pumping out 160 watts per channel into 8 ohms. No doubt. So let's check out what's on the front panel. So going from left to right, at the bottom left we have our on button. It's actually a standby button because there's a master on in the back. Now it has a 3.5 millimeter jack for headphones and for an auxiliary input. Next to that, I believe, is the IR sensor. And to the right of that are the bass and treble tone controls. Now, the tone controls are very interesting because they're right on the front of the unit, and you can just make some quick adjustments if the sound isn't right. Like if the trebles are a little harsh, turn it down. If the bass is a little too much, turn it down. Or if it's not enough, turn it up a little bit. It's actually very, very convenient. And in my short period with the unit, I did play with the tone controls, turn it on, turn it off, see exactly how much it added and subtracted from the signal. You have to engage the tone button for the tone controls to work. Now in the middle portion of the front panel, you'll see a row of inputs and LEDs, and they have a nice blue indicator to tell you which input is active or selected. And that's all along the bottom of the unit. Looks really nice, really classy. Now moving over to the right of the front panel, we have the input selector knob, we have a subwoofer level knob, there's a balance knob, and the large knob to the right is a volume knob with a blue level marker. And just below the volume knob, there's a mute button. Now it's really cool, they do this silver and blue color combination, and the blue is all over the place. However, when you press the mute button, that blue turns into red, and it looks pretty cool. So that's pretty much everything that's on the front of the unit. Let's swap around the back and go from right to left. So here we are on the back panel. On the right hand side at the very top, we have the voltage selector, then we have the main power switch, a fuse holder, and the IEC power port. Now to the left of that and a little bit up, we have our speaker outputs. These are the binding posts. And now what I notice about these binding posts, these things are quality. Like this whole thing is just exudes quality, and these binding posts are ginormous. You know, you can actually put in some very thick gauge cable into these binding posts. I'll use banana clips, so I won't be actually, unscrewing the binding posts, but I did unscrew them, and they are pretty huge. Just below that, we have turn on options. You can have this totally remote switch on from a different amplifier or receiver or whatever. And to the right of that, there's also an IR input. Now below the trigger and turn on options, we have the digital input section. USB input, coax, and optical input. Now all of these digital inputs will be utilizing the built-in ESS Sabre 32-bit reference DAC. Now just to the left of that, we have our low pass, high pass filters and the pre-outs. Next to that, we have a theater bypass and amp input. So what this is for, like I can actually output my left and right channel from my Denon pre-out, plug it into these RCA jacks, and power my Klipsch RP280F with the Halo, but the signal will be coming from the Denon. So if I want to try that out and see exactly how much more volume I can get watching home theater stuff, I might check that out in the next week or two. Next we got record out and 5 analog inputs. Now on the bottom left hand corner of the unit, we have a phono input with a ground screw and a load and cartridge selector. So this selection switch will coincide with what kind of needle you have and what kind of impedance, and if it's a moving magnet or moving coil. So you move the selector to match up with the needle that you have on your turntable. And above that, we have balanced XLR inputs and outputs, one stereo input, one stereo output, and a subwoofer output. Now flipping the unit on the side, you can see the feet on the bottom. You can remove them, just one simple Phillips screwdriver. Now one foot comprises of 2 pieces, one's a plastic piece and one's a rubber actual foot, and you can screw that back on. You can take it off and put it on your rack. I like it with the feet on, kind of gives it more of a fancy kind of look to it, so I just kept it on. Now one of the things I wanted to show you guys how to do real quick was to set up the DSD output from a computer to this unit, because I was kind of confused until I kind of poked around and figured it all out on my own. First I got the DSDs from Acoustic Sounds, I believe. I'll put links in the description to all this stuff. A lot of the stuff is classical and jazz, and you guys should check it out at some point in time. And I'll make a video about DSD and high-res audio in a little bit, but I just want to show you guys how to set it up properly. So what you're going to want to do is hook up a USB cable from the back of the unit to your computer. Now I had to download this program to play the DSDs. Now I don't really know how to pronounce this name, but it's Audi Ravana or something like that. Audi Ravana Plus, that is a $75 app that I had to buy to play the DSD files on my computer. So I got that, got the DSDs, and then I plugged it in, and now we have to select the audio source. Okay, so you open up the program and we go into Preferences. And the next thing we want to click on is Audio System. As you can see here at the top, it says Active Audio Device Built-in Output, and it shows you, 44.1 to 96 kilohertz. that is supported by the stock DAC. Now we press change and we select Parasound Digital Audio. And then you click select. As you can see, the DSD is not selected. So what we have to do is go to native DSD capability and scroll down to DSD over PCM standard 1.0. And this little pop-up comes up and says that, hey, you're gonna need a different volume controller because the volume controller in the program will not work anymore. So just hit OK to get out of that. And now you can see that DSD 64, 128, and 256 are selected. So we can close that window out now. And let's go ahead and play one of these DSDs. And you notice on the left, it'll say DAC, DSD 64 stereo. Now if we play this song over here, we can see to the right, it shows you what the file type is. And on the left, it says we're outputting in DSD 128. All right, and that's pretty much it. So that's how you set up the DSD output from your computer to work in conjunction with this unit. It's the DSD over PCM, or DOP as they call it. And this unit will support DSD 64, 128, and 256. Now this isn't like a full review because I don't have my turntable set up yet, and I will get that done and I will give you guys a full review on this unit in like a month or so, but I did just want to give you my first impressions. Here's one way I described it earlier, is that the Parasound Halo Integrated kicked my Klipsch towers in the balls, and boy did they sing. Oh man, this thing is awesome, and I can't wait for this new vinyl to come in next week and get everything set up because these speakers never sounded so good. Well, that pretty much wraps up this unboxing and feature overview video of the Parasound Halo Integrated Amplifier. Now, like I said before, if you guys want to check out more information about this amplifier, I'll put links in the description. And if you feel like picking one up or any other Parasound products up, definitely give my man Corey a buzz. His link is also down in the description. Now, if you like this video, go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.